Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that so many people face, but find it's just really hard to get good information on. We're talking about trying to conceive while you're still breastfeeding. We're going to follow one woman's very personal, very methodical story to figure it all out. And this quote, it just nails the frustration, doesn't it? She was trying to get her body ready for another baby, but she also wanted to keep breastfeeding. And everywhere she looked, the advice was exactly the same. You have to pick one. It just didn't work for her. So this is the big question that really drove her entire journey. It completely reframes the problem. Instead of it being this either-or choice, it becomes a hunt for a third option, a way to support the baby she has now and her hopes for the next one. So her search kicked off with this really frustrating dilemma. Like so many others, the first thing she ran into was all the same common advice that honestly just wasn't very helpful. The standard advice for anyone trying to conceive, or TTC, was all pointing in one direction. The message was loud and clear: if you want your cycle to come back, you've got to stop nursing, or at least cut way, way back. But her goal was to keep her breastfeeding relationship going, so this was a total non-starter. So when all the advice she found just didn't fit, she decided to take things into her own hands and started her own methodical journey. And this wasn't just random guessing. It was a really systematic month-by-month experiment to see what might naturally encourage her cycle to return. Her approach was all about adding one thing at a time. She started with daily luteinizing hormone strips, the ones that try to predict ovulation. When that didn't really show much, she added basal body temperature tracking. After that, she and her husband worked on creating a 6 to 8 hour gap between nursing at night. Each new step was just layered right on top of the last one. So despite all this effort, all the tracking, the timing, the temperature taking every single morning, there was no big aha moment. Sure, there were little signs, these tiny glimmers of hope that maybe something was changing, but her cycle still hadn't come back. The main piece of the puzzle was definitely still missing. After trying all these methods, all the things that are so common in the TTC communities, you've got to wonder, right? What finally worked? What was the one thing that seemed to be the catalyst for everything that happened next? Well, the answer turned out to be a huge breakthrough, and it was probably not what you're thinking. The one factor that seemed to make the biggest difference was surprisingly simple. That's it. Just eating more calories. It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? She made a very conscious choice to seriously ramp up how much she was eating. She actually describes it as eating constantly, even when she wasn't hungry, just to make sure her body had tons of extra energy. And the result of this one change was pretty incredible. Soon after she started eating more, she saw an LH spike. It was a false alarm, but still super promising. Then came a real spike, and her first period showed up just 3 days later. It was real progress. Her next cycle started 45 days after that, and get this, that was the cycle where she conceived. But why? Why on earth did this work? Well, the theory she found suggests it's all about sending your body the right kind of message. The idea is called the safety signal theory, and it's pretty brilliant. Basically, a woman's body is incredibly smart. It's not going to restart a whole menstrual cycle if it thinks there isn't enough energy to take care of mom and a potential new baby. So by upping the calories, you're essentially sending a memo that says, hey, resources are plentiful around here. It's safe to proceed. So, and this is the most important part, it's not about tricking your body. It's about reassuring it. You're communicating on a biological level that, yes, I have enough fuel, I am healthy, and it's absolutely safe to start the process of creating a new life again. And of course, we have to be super clear here. This has been a really fascinating look into one person's specific story and what worked for her. It's an anecdote, not a prescription. For any kind of medical advice, or before you make any changes to your diet or health, please go talk to your doctor or healthcare professional. To wrap things up, we want to leave you with this idea. Her story really suggests that this whole process wasn't about forcing or tricking her body into doing something. It was about learning to listen to it and giving it what it needed to feel safe. And it's a powerful way to think about it. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What signals are our own bodies waiting to hear from us?